As one of the culture jammers known as the Yes Men, Andy Bichlbaum once pretended to be a spokesman for Dow Chemical, telling millions of BBC viewers that the company planned to do the right thing and make complete reparations for the Bhopal disaster. Quite a feat. Dow lost $2 billion, their stock, in 20 minutes. By any measure, it was the Yes Men's biggest and boldest hoax, though they came close just a few weeks ago when Bichlbaum announced a position shift on climate change on behalf of the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. Andy Bichlbaum, good on you. The website, theyesmen.org, theyesmen.org. Yes Men going to the belly of the beast. Tell us about this latest adventure with the U.S. Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, yeah. Well, we set up a press conference at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C., as the Chamber of Commerce, and announced what they should clearly be announcing, and which they have actually made a stab towards announcing since then, which is that they're actually going to push for climate legislation.
Wait a minute, they've made a step toward that?
Weirdly,
I have missed that.
Weirdly, they did, yeah. A couple days ago, they announced they were going to work with Kerry and Boxer on a climate change bill. It sounded eerily like our press conference, except that they are not going to push to strengthen it. Quite on the contrary. They're also working with Einhoff, the senator who who doesn't believe that global warming exists or is human.
Yeah, it's a little bit like Mussolini saying he was going to work with the communists.
Right, yeah. I'll work with them.
Yeah. These are the two most famous of your adventures, going up against Monsanto, going up against the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I think what you're doing, and the Billionaires for Wealthcare, billionairesforwealthcare.com is their website, where they show up at the Tea Party demonstrations in tuxedos and with champagne, thanking everybody for helping them maintain their multi-million-dollar CEO salaries in the health insurance industry. Just shocked looks. This kind of theater, frankly, and there were parallels to this back in the 60s with the Vietnam War and other issues, I think is the most brilliant kind of political work that's being done today. And tell us about other things that you guys have done and how the rest of us, how somebody who's listening right now might be able to do this sort of thing in do this at home, or do this in a town near you, or how they can support the work of people like you guys, the Yes Men. We're talking with Andy Bichlbaum, and the Billionaires for Wealthcare and whatnot. You guys have you guys have a movie, right?
Right, yeah, that's one way. You can see how we do what we do. It's not rocket science. It's kind of obvious how to do this stuff. And there is a movie about us. It's called The Yes Men Fix the World. It's also by us. And it's playing in theaters now. You can go to theyesmenfixtheworld.com and see where it's playing. It's full of we have a social message. We're trying to get the word out about things. We're also trying to make something very entertaining so that people laugh, find it funny, they sit there, they get the message. And you see all kinds of really crazy things in this movie, from me going on the BBC in front of 350 million people and announcing an enormous change of heart on behalf of Dow Chemical Corporation. And all these people think it's real. Dow's stock plunges. There's also a part where we impersonate Halliburton, go to a conference on the Gulf Coast shortly after Katrina, and say, as Halliburton, to this room full of executives, that we're going to deal with climate change by saving the wealthiest of the wealthy from anything that might happen. And we unveil these 6-foot diameter grub suits, basically, these big inflatable balls called Survivaballs, that will supposedly protect managers from any climate catastrophe. And the people in the room, these insurance executives, just sit there and listen and applaud, and then ask polite questions like,
how do I get one?
Work? Yeah, how do I get one? Will it work against terrorism and that sort of thing?
Oh man, it is so true, and so that comedy always has to have a kernel of truth in it to be comedic, to be funny, and has historically been our most incisive social commentary. I mean, all the way back to the days when the king could take your head off for criticizing the king, so people made up nursery rhymes that were, funny or sarcastic or whatever as a way of telling the real story of what was going on in the kingdom.
That's right. And these days when massive corporate ownership of the media has dumbed it down so much that, you watch the nightly news and you think you're watching like a kindergarten special.
Yeah.
Comedy is basically taken over the role of a lot of news. You have the Jon Stewart show and the Colbert show really reporting a lot of stuff that should be reported in real shows.
Yeah, and with a few exceptions. I mean, I think that Jon Stewart put his foot in his show or whatever when he had the climate deniers, the Freakonomics guys on the other day. But other than that, I mean, he's typically a better source. Jon Stewart on the Comedy Channel and Stephen Colbert, a better source of news, a better summary of the day's events than you'll find on the network news.
Yeah, and one thing we try to do with our movie too, and it's the same in movies, like with Michael Moore's movies, obviously, where he's doing this clowning around and getting a lot of information out there at the same time. We try to do the same thing. We do a lot of there's a lot of investigative reporting actually in our movie where we go and we talk to people who have actually experienced some of the worst corporate behavior ever, and we get to the bottom of stories in New Orleans, what actually destroyed New Orleans. I mean, it's not unknown, but it was the oil industry over the past several decades carving it up that actually enabled Katrina to destroy New Orleans. It wasn't the levees that were too weak. It was that there was no natural protection.
Yeah, all the very interesting. Andy Bichlbaum, one of the Yes Men, theyesmen.org, their website, their new movie out. Andy, good luck with it.
Thanks a lot.
Keep up the great work, and next time you got something going, if you need some press backup, let us know. Great talking with you.